Morning, friends. It's Monday. Kind of worked through the weekend, which is I love to work. I love what I do, but when you don't have a weekend, it kind of throws you, and I'm always kind of thrown as to what day it is. Anyway, man, did some real cool recording gigs this week. Thursday, Friday, TSU, Tennessee State University. We were doing a gig with Sirius XM for Jeezy, rapper Jeezy. I wasn't familiar with him, but people seemed to love him. And, it was a rap show. So we did that. It was very, very loud. Crazy sound pressure level. So anyway, there we go. Rob doesn't work with rappers very often. So grateful for the gig. And the team at Sirius XM are some of my great friends. They're so fun and organized, and there's always a plan. And the older you get, those gigs where there's not a plan and everything's the last minute, you almost just don't want to do them. But I still do. But I really appreciate when people have a plan. It's much appreciated. So the big one of this week was the Country Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The class of 25 got inducted last night, and maybe it's been 10 years I've been doing these. I don't know. It's been a minute. They're the most fun gigs I get to do. It's a gift. And last night, the inductees were record executive Tony Brown, legend. I'll have a story in a second. June Carter Cash and Kenny Chesney. And so what these shows are, they're private. The Hall Theater holds probably about 700 people. And the people inducted do not perform. I don't think people understand that. They're honored. It's kind of like the Kennedy Center honors, if you've ever seen that show before, where the inductees are sitting in the audience and their friends and peers are inducting them. It's really cool. So first was June Carter Cash, and unfortunately Miss June is no longer with us. So her daughter Carlene Carter Cash was there, and then John Carter Cash, who, if you live in Nashville, you love that guy. He's the best. I actually just went and saw the second the new Spinal Tap movie a couple weeks ago at a theater, and he and I were like 2 of 6 men sitting there watching it. And it's always good to catch up with him. How could Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash not create great people? And he's a great guy. So it was really cool getting to see his mom honored last night. My good friend Casey Musgraves came out with Daniel Toshin and did Ring of Fire, which was awesome. And I'd texted her a few days before when I saw that she was on. She's a Texas girl, and so I met her 20 years ago. She used to open up shows for a guy named Mark McKinney that I used to manage. So anyway, she's an old friend, and I know how much that means to her to get to sing Ring of Fire, June Carter Cash. And Daniel Toshin, who's great, and one of her producers, he did the Johnny Cash harmony. It was great. So they crushed. And then next, Keb Mo and my friend Ruby Amanfu. They were both, those two folks were on my Fisk record, and we all won a Grammy together for that record. So we have a special bond, and Ruby is such a light, incredible, soulful singer. So she came out, the two of them, her and Keb, and they sang a song called Keep on the Sunny Side. I think that was an old Carter Family tune. And they killed it. I mean, Ruby and Kev, they don't ever do anything that's bad. And that's what's really unique about this Hall of Fame. It's like no tracks, live performances, great band. And then Lucas Nelson, Willie's, I think, youngest son, who's really came into his own the last 8-10 years. He came out and did a song called It Ain't Me. It Ain't Me, Babe. And I don't know the origins of that. My daughter thought it might have been a Bob Dylan song, but I don't know. Somehow it ties to the Carter family, I'm sure of. And Lucas is great. Sounds like his dad in a really cool way. He's got his own thing, but that's really cool. So that was June Carter Cash, and then the Tony Brown induction started. So, little background. For those of you not in the record industry, you might not know who Tony Brown is. So, Tony Brown was like the Clive Davis of Music Row, an A&R powerhouse. When he was younger, he was a gospel pianist and used to play with Elvis. He used to play piano in Elvis's band. And, you know, when I was a kid and moved to Nashville, you wanted to get to know Tony Brown. He was the most powerful executive in Nashville. Had the best style, always dressed to the nines, head to toe. Looked like $1 million. Was a song guy. Was a artist first guy. Let's find the best songs. Let's hire the best engineers. Let's buy or rent the best recording technology and make the best records. And he did. They said last night his time as the president at MCA, they sold over 100 million records with Tony at the helm. So complete legend. Tony left MCA Records, and for a short time, him and Tim Dubois headed up Universal South Records. And why that's important is my good friend Van Fletcher was the general manager there at the time, and they hired me to produce a concert film and double live CD for Cross Canadian Ragweed, and it changed my life. So Tony Brown, thank you. I've told you in person. I've told Tim Dubois that many times, and I've told Van Fletcher that. It was not a big project, but what that did for me is that made it okay in town for the guy that owned Rack and Roll to do other things other than rent and sell gear. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity. It's created everything I get to do now. So I have a special place in my heart for him, and I've told him that several times. So anyway, Tony Brown goes in. Well, who comes out first? Lyle Lovett. I'm from Texas, so I mean, who doesn't love Lyle Lovett? He's the epitome of just a gentleman performer. Always looks good. Is always super nice, grateful. So he came out and sang "If I Had a Boat," which is my favorite Lyle Lovett song of all time. Do yourself a favor and listen to Live in Texas with this large band. That is my go-to Saturday morning. You're cleaning the house, you put that on. It's so great. Steve Earle came out, did Guitar Town, killed it. He was great. And then who came up next? I've got notes here. Oh yeah, Trisha Yearwood came out and did a song called Perfect Love. You know, one of how many Trisha Yearwood hits are there, and she's always amazing. In fact, we did a thing with her at the Hall of Fame a couple of months ago where she just sang Linda Ronstadt songs, and I hope that comes out. It was just kind of like this stuff we do at the Hall. It's more archive for the museum, so a lot of times this stuff commercially doesn't come out, but I hope that does, because I mean, she's, you know, between her, Alison Krauss, Martina McBride, I mean, they are the powerhouse vocalist in Nashville. And when you get to record people like that, it's so special because they're awesome. So she was awesome. And then King George George Strait. It's my first concert. He came out and did Troubadour, which is like one of my favorite George Strait songs. And you know, it's funny, in rehearsal, he came in, said hi to everybody, crushed, left. Like, one time through, none of this, can I have more, less of that? None of that. Showed up, crushed, left, out. Like 5 minutes of our time for a 30-minute rehearsal window, which, you know, that's the epitome of professional. That's what professionals do. So it was great. And he absolutely crushed it with Troubadour. And then, you know, Vince Gill did the induction speech for Tony, and dude, made you cry. It was so good. Those two mean so much to each other, and no one is better in the MC role as Vince. He just kills it every time. And then we get to Kenny Chesney, which was great. You know, side note, my first memory of Kenny Chesney was in 1995. I moved to Nashville, and I was an audio guy. I was the bottom audio guy on a 3-man audio team for John Michael Montgomery. This would have been, 95, January 95. He had a record out called Sold. And we did a bunch of dates. But I remember doing a date in Jackson, Tennessee. And on the bill that day was this guy that was on Capricorn Records, which was a insignificant label in Nashville at the time, Kenny Chesney, the Tractors, and then John Michael Montgomery. And I think he played a 20-minute set that night as people were like coming in the door. And I'm not gonna lie, that day, if you would have told me he's gonna be the largest artist in the country format and will be in the Hall of Fame and will sell out football stadiums, I didn't see it. But you know what I've learned about Nashville is it's always the ones you don't see. It's the worker bees that have the long careers. They're never the tallest, they're never the best looking, they're never the best singers, but it's the ones with the work ethic that every day wake up and try to make it happen. So kudos to Kenny. He's the epitome of that and is so well deserving. So, okay, who performed for Kenny? Let's see. First, it was Kelsey Ballerini. She came out and did, I think, Somewhere With You. I've actually got notes here. I'm cheating. Yeah, she did Somewhere With You. And then my friend Megan Maroney came out and did a song called Knowing You that our good friend Brett James, who just passed away a couple weeks ago, wrote this great song called Knowing You. And Megan kind of audibled at the last minute rehearsals and decided to do it acoustic vocal, which, man, that's a bold move. But she crushed it, and it was great. She was playing a hummingbird guitar that Kenny had just given her, I believe, is what they told me. And Dolly signed the back of it. How cool is that, to have a guitar Kenny Chesney gave you with Dolly's signature on the back? So she sang this song, Knowing You. It was a fantastic moment. And then it was supposed to be Joe Walsh, and apparently he's sick right now, so he couldn't make it. So Eric Church, with 20 hours of notice, came out and did a little medley of Chesney tunes, and it was so good. The whole night was great. And you know, the thing that's so special about the Hall is it's a private event. The public doesn't get to see this. It's only industry people in the house. It is the thrill of my career that they have me back every year to do this, because, y'all, I'm a music fan. And, you know, even country music, I love a lot of it. I don't care for some of it. But what I love about it is it props our town up. I respect it. I revere it. It takes care of my family, you know? It creates so many opportunities. So anyway, shout out to my assistant Cam, who backed me up for 4 days and killed it, and we had a good time. There's nothing better than live music. My passion in life, as I've said a lot, is recording live music on the concert stage. That is my lane. That's when I found myself about 30 years ago. And if I'm doing that, I am happier than any of the other roles that I wear. So anyway, little report. I did go long. This may be mildly interesting at all to some of you, but that's what was on my head. I wanted to do a video to get it off my head and to express gratitude. And you know, these types of gigs, here's the best thing about them. I see all my friends, like, you know, all my friends from the last 30 years of being in Nashville. And, you know, most of us have gray hair now. But it's great. It's great. Managers, artists, people in the business. So anyway, I'm full of gratitude on a Monday and ready to serve people. I hope everybody has a great week. If you're watching this, thank you. Like and subscribe, y'all. Anyway, thanks, man. Have a good one. See ya.